What's up, folks? Happy Tuesday.
What's up?
And welcome to another episode of Breakfast with Mark and Jen. We are here to help your Christian marriage thrive. And today we want to talk to the ladies in the marriage, but we're going to also provide some male insight on 3 ways to take care of your man.
All right.
Because in a marriage, it's important that both spouses feel loved, taken care of.
Okay.
And so
You ready for this
today
one?
I don't know actually if I am, but we're going to give it a go.
Take care of your man. I
Yeah.
like it.
All right. So 3 ways to take care of your man.
Yeah.
Mark, I think one way for a woman to take care of her man is to sometimes shut up.
That's how we starting.
That's what came off the top of my head because this is unscripted.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is most times as women, especially if you have a more extroverted, talkative personality, and women tend to be more emotional than men. It's not always the rule, but tend to be.
Right.
So sometimes with all of that put together, we want to talk about a situation either right then and there.
Yeah.
Or once we've talked about it, sometimes because women are carriers, it takes us a while to filter something out of our system. We want to keep talking.
Yeah.
And so what I've learned in marriage is that one of the best ways I can take care of Mark is, number one, if we're having a disagreement, but he says, I don't want to talk right now, not to try and push the issue, because Mark is actually a pretty straightforward guy.
Right.
And so he's not the guy that's trying to avoid the confrontation or avoid the issue. He just literally doesn't want to talk right now. So if you know that you have a husband that's like my husband, where you know his issue is not, I just don't want to deal with it, but hey, even if you just give me 30 minutes, just let me deal with it in a little bit.
Right.
That's number one. Or number two, once you've talked about it, if your husband says, hey, we've talked about it, I'm good, you said you're good, let's at least for now pause.
Right.
The wisdom is to not continue talking. And I think because men and women are wired differently, a lot of times you guys really do need a moment to process.
Right.
Because I remember a couple that we were counseling a couple of years ago, and the wife was complaining that, he never wants to talk about anything. He never wants to find a solution.
Yep.
And he said to us, it's actually not that I'm not concerned or that I don't want to find a solution. He was like, sometimes I just need a moment to process because I don't know the answer. He's like, she asked me questions.
Yeah.
And if I don't know the answer, I'll say, hey, let's not talk about this right now. But he was telling us his let's not talk about this right now was not a sign that he didn't want to resolve the issue or solve the issue. But he's asking her a question. She's asking him a question. He actually was feeling pressured because she's like, so what are we doing?
Yeah.
But he's like, because there was no clear-cut answer, he's like, hey, let's talk about it later, because he just needed time to think.
Listen, I just need time.
Yeah.
I need time.
See, people thought I was going to say cook him a home-cooked meal. Like, that might be part of it, but I want to get to, like, the things that actually
are a problem.
Yeah.
Because if that's your problem, cooking meals, I'm not saying it's not a problem. We're just saying probably and most likely you're going to have to deal with bigger issues.
Yep.
And one of the biggest issues is, hey, how do you take care of a man? And I think your number one or your first point is right on the money. Mm-hmm. What a man doesn't often like to say is that he doesn't know.
Is it kind of like the whole, they say men don't like to ask for directions because they don't want to say, I don't know where we're going. But it's beyond a map. If even in life, he's like, I don't want to say, I don't know where we're going.
I don't know what this decision is going to do to our family, how it's going to impact it. I haven't processed it. I don't know all the answers. And if I stick my neck out, the last time I stuck my neck out, I almost got my head cut off.
So that's
because we went too fast, or I didn't have all the facts, or there was so much pressure on me as the man to make a decision.
Wow.
That I made a bad decision. And so when a man feels like he's being bombarded, with questions or with a scenario. He often just needs the wife to be a little bit more quiet so he can process it. And I think sometimes women feel like a man's silence means delay.
Right, or that he's just shut down.
He's shut down. He doesn't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
Or we're going to miss an opportunity. Sometimes it's not that he is trying to postpone it from the standpoint of he's procrastinating.
Yeah.
It just means that he needs more time, and he knows that the window may close.
Yeah.
So he will get a decision, but you just got to give him more space. And I think a woman that knows when to be quiet is a woman that knows how to care for her man.
Yep.
Knows how to care for her man.
Because I think, Mark, what some women don't realize is when you take the time to be quiet, especially if he's told you he just needs a moment, you're literally caring for his mind because you're giving him the space to think. You're caring for his heart because you're telling him, hey, you can trust me to back up if you tell me to back up.
Right.
And you're caring for his spirit because you're giving him a chance to also, maybe he wants to run it by God. You know, because sometimes as women, we do want an immediate answer, especially if you have a type A personality.
Right.
I'm more extrovert, introvert. You're more introvert, extrovert. And so what comes with that is you're more even-tempered and have a type B personality. Because I'm extroverted first, I have a more type A personality.
Right.
So I know how that woman feels if she feels like, but Jen, I just want to know the answer so that we can move on. But sometimes what you have to realize is that if you have a godly man, especially if God hasn't already told him the answer, he wants to ask God, sir, what should I do? Because I actually don't know.
I actually don't know. And sometimes women will look at a man and say, why did he choose her to be his wife? She doesn't fit the type. She may not even fit the ethnicity that you like. You know, I'm getting into hot water. She may not even fit the race that you like.
Yeah.
But maybe that man was saying to himself, I just want a woman that knows when to close her mouth.
Wow.
And I'm not saying, I'm not an advocate, you know, for men not really taking everything into account. I'm black. I'm a black man, and I love our sisters. So I want our men to value our sisters and love our sisters, and we need to know how to nurture our sisters and have a strong black woman. But at the same token, some men run and exit the building because they're sitting here like, I just don't think she's going to give me space to think about it and make a good decision. And I threw that in there because I wanted to make you uncomfortable on the other side of this camera.
Yeah.
And say to yourself, I got a problem with that. I got a problem with that. I got a problem with what he's saying. I'm saying whether it's right or wrong, it's a factor.
Yeah. And you know, Mark, it's funny because I actually want to reserve this for another video because I think that's a whole video in and of itself because as a black woman, I'm a little bit like, well, hold on, Mark, because there are some things that black women have had to endure and deal with statistically that other races just simply have not. So I feel like we're going to get far off the topic and we do need to come back and make it another talk.
Yeah, but let's put a bow on it, at least from the standpoint of
because the reality is that a woman of any race cannot know how to be quiet.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. But I brought race into it because I wanted people to tackle the elephant that's in the room. Because we all think about it, we all see it, and sometimes we're wondering why a certain decision is made, and it's not all the time, but maybe sometimes, because I'm a man, and I know how a man thinks, maybe sometimes he's feeling like he's going to get a different package emotionally, he's going to get a different package as it relates to communication, and that's not the case. But maybe that's his perception. And that's his thinking. Why? Because, as you said, Jen, a man needs to know that he can be cared for by simply the wife knowing when to be quiet. And that's so good. And that's so good. I think that one's going to be, that's going to hit people right where it hurts. But I agree, we need to tackle that one and talk about race relations in marriage. All right, let's get another one.
I would say another way to take care of your man is to forgive. Because we all make mistakes. And sometimes, as women, we can be guilty of putting our husbands on a pedestal.
Right.
And expecting them to always get it right. And when they don't, there's no grace. But we need grace from our husbands just like they need it from us. And part of, it's not, when you say, I forgive you, that's not necessarily our sign that you have forgiven your husband.
Right.
Forgiveness means I overlook your faults. I acknowledge that you're acknowledging your faults. I overlook it to the point where I don't bring it up again in conversation. Because my husband said I love to keep physical receipts, like from stores.
And what other kind of receipts?
Digital receipts.
And?
I don't keep record of your wrong.
I didn't say record of a wrong, but
So
you
then
keep.
what kind of?
But you keep record of history of what has happened.
Yeah,
what
but
has transpired.
not to
No.
to cut you down. You're about to derail my whole point.
No.
By saying she's talking about forgiveness, y'all, but she keeps receipts herself.
No. What I'm trying to highlight is, as a woman, you naturally keep receipts.
Yeah.
Right? You actually keep physical receipts, but I think innately women keep receipts in general of what has happened in the relationship.
Yeah.
What has gone on. So this is not actually breaking down your point. It's underscoring your point that a woman has to actually work to not bringing up a receipt if it's going to derail the forgiveness that needs to happen.
Yeah, so you may remember
Right.
the mistake that he made, but if you've agreed to forgive him and move on, then it's actually wrong for you to then bring it back up in a future argument, a future disagreement, a future misunderstanding. How do you take care of him? By forgiving him, because he knows that you're safe enough for him to make a mistake.
Yeah.
Some guys, I think, feel the weight of, I can't make a mistake. I have to walk on eggshells because mistakes are not welcome here.
It's like a sign on the front door. You got a welcome mat, and then in fine print it says, but if you're my husband, mistakes are not welcome in this house. And I think that's a very real thing. Both parties need to absolutely forgive, but there's so much safety in a wife that forgives. It brings a man to a place where he can be so free to take risks and to do everything that God has called him to do, and to be as the leader of the house. If he knows that you can make a mistake here and I'll cover you.
Yep.
I'll forgive you. Now we know that certain mistakes we're not advocating for.
Correct.
We're not giving men free license to go out there and be reckless.
Correct.
And to abuse.
Correct.
And to take advantage of.
Right.
What we're saying is the normal mistakes of a man in life, there has to be an understanding that says, hey, you can make some mistakes and I got you. I got you. I'm absolutely with you, and I'll cover every single thing that I can, and that's within my power.
Yes. Yep.
So that one is a really good one. And men are unique beings, right? And we have a unique way of thinking. We have a unique way of looking at different situations. And sometimes we just need to know that we're cared for emotionally.
Right.
We're cared for emotionally, that our emotions are handled with gloves on, right? They're not handled with bare hands and just, we're left to be exposed.
Yeah.
But our emotions are handled in a very real way. And I was saying that on the pathway to where I was going because I was trying to remember what I was going to say. And you know, as a pastor, as a preacher, you gotta fill in the gaps.
Right.
All right?
Yeah.
Where I was going is that if you're going to take care of a man well, you're going to have to take care of his ego. And know how to, you need to know how to actually bolster his ego.
Wow.
You need to know how to praise him.
So is this the third point?
Yeah, this is number 3.
Okay.
You need to know how to praise him. You need to know how to push him. You need to know how to support him because the male ego is a very fragile thing.
Yeah.
And a woman that knows how to take care of her man is a woman that knows a man's ego is something that shouldn't be played with. It's something that should actually be promoted and pushed. So a man wants to be in an environment where the woman is like, you better go ahead and fix that picture on the wall. Nobody can fix that picture on the wall like you can.
Oh my
You
gosh.
better go ahead and fix that leaky faucet. I ain't gonna talk about how you had to go back to Home Depot 10, 15 times because you
Right.
forgot the parts or you're just trying to figure it out. And you're on YouTube and I'm looking at my watch and it's been 10 hours and you can't just simply figure out how to fix the leaky faucet. I mean, I could figure it out as a wife, how to fix this leaky faucet.
Right.
But you go ahead because nobody can fix a leaky faucet like you do. You can. And so a woman that knows how to take care of her man will push him
That's good.
and say, you are the best. Because when a man hears that, his ego starts to stir and he starts to step into his greatness. Because maybe his greatness really isn't fixing a leaky faucet,
Right.
but it's transferable. So now he's able to say, man, my woman thinks I can fix this leaky faucet. You know what? Now I have the confidence to make the right investment with our money because that's what I've really been studying. That's what I've really been putting my time in. And even though I see all of these other investors in my industry who are great, I can be great too because I have a wife that's going to feed my ego.
That's good.
Feed my ego.
I love it because we often talk about the male ego and sometimes we act like it's this toxic thing that should be avoided, but if cultivated properly, it's a good thing.
It's a good thing, and you have to know how to cultivate it, right? So, Jen, I'm not saying that if he sucks, tell him he's great. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. If he's horrible, don't tell him he's great.
Oh, wow.
Because you're just going to get more horrible.
Oh, because he's not going to see the need to change because you're telling him his character the way it is phenomenal.
Yeah, if he's just not good at it, don't tell him he's great. Because sometimes a man translates that into, I don't have to work, right? I don't have to put in the effort because I know I'm great.
So then how do you handle, because if he really can't fix the leaky faucet, and you just said can't nobody fix a leaky faucet like you.
Right, because in that moment he needs encouragement.
Okay.
Because you want to build him up.
Okay.
Right? But if you realize we're on week 3 and that faucet's still leaking and he's on his 23rd YouTube video, then, and you spent so much money over a leaky faucet, not only is the faucet leaking, your finances are leaking.
Yeah, well, that's true.
You got to say, hey, babe, I maybe fixing this sink, this leaky faucet is not your thing. You have to know when to cut it off.
Gotcha.
So you don't do it just aimlessly or whimsically, just to somehow
and
indefinitely if he's not great, because you don't want him to be, to suck at something and then all of a sudden you're just getting terrible results. But if you can see potential there, and what I think could be a bonus point here is that how do you take care of a man? You invest in his potential.
That's good.
So not only do you pour into his ego, you invest in his potential. You know, a lot of people will say, I'm not sure if this is the one. I don't know if I should marry this man.
Right.
I'm not sure. And you miss out on a great thing because you have minimized the power of potential. This man may not have a college degree, but if you can see a spark of potential, you'll be shocked at where you are 25 years later because he has work ethic.
Right.
And he's going to start a business and you guys will be right where you're supposed to be and ahead of other people because you found a possibility, you had hope in his potential. And so when it comes to taking care of your man, you have to know how to cultivate his potential and invest in his potential.
That's good.
Yeah. You ain't got no more.
We said we're doing 3.
Yeah.
So we're already up to 4.
Yeah, let's give some more bonuses.
All right, I have one more bonus.
Let's go.
I guess a way to take care of your man is to sometimes initiate the romance, but understanding that romance for a guy is different than it is for a woman.
Let's go. I love this
one.
This is my favorite one so far, Jen. This is my favorite one.
All I simply mean is sometimes be the one to initiate in the bedroom, because to be honest with you, guys don't need the same warm-up that women need. So he doesn't necessarily need texts throughout the day. I mean, you can text him an encouraging text.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, if you don't text him all day, if you don't buy him his favorite candy bar, if you don't like pump him up as soon as he gets in the house, trust me, he's still going to be good to go at night. Because that's just what I've learned about my husband, because he does not need these fluffy texts all throughout the day. And like I said, it's not that you can't send your man a nice encouraging text, but for a guy, initiating the romance just means initiating in the bedroom sometimes. Because I think, in all honesty, it helps the guy to feel wanted.
Thank you. That's where we're going.
When we were newlyweds, I never initiated, and you even told me that sometimes you used to wonder, like, is she pleased? Does she like me that way? Because I didn't refuse you, but I also didn't initiate. And we had a long talk. My lack of initiation was simply about how I was reared, and I just,
felt like it was my job.
Yeah. But it had nothing to do with me trying to express to him that I wasn't interested. But he was saying that for a guy, when the wife literally never initiates, he does start to wonder, even if your husband hasn't said it to you yet, if you never initiate, chances are he probably is wondering, is she that interested? Or does she enjoy when we're together? Because for a guy, they feel like if she enjoys it, then at some point she should let me know by simply saying, hey, come over here.
You gotta make me feel wanted. A man is attracted to places and spaces where he feels wanted. Whether it's in his career, he's or in school, or he's on the football field. If he's playing in the game, but he doesn't feel like his coach wants him, it affects how he plays the game. It affects his mental space. It affects how hard he plays, because he wants to feel wanted. And I think a woman wants to feel wanted too.
Yes.
Both do.
Yes.
But because men are so hard on the exterior, we don't see the deep needs of a man that says, I need to feel wanted. And because sex is such a deep need for a man, that's how we're built.
Yeah.
I need to feel wanted in the bedroom. I have to feel like I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
I have to feel like you like it. And if you don't like it, please tell me where I can improve. And when you tell me where I can improve, don't kill me on the way to restoring me. Like, don't cut me and then say, well, how come you didn't receive what I had to say? Well, you just told me I suck.
Oh, man.
You just told me I'm no good.
Wow.
You just compared me to somebody else you had.
Ooh.
You just compared me to your imagination of what it should be like. Nah, don't do that. Just tell me where I need to improve. And you'll see how that man will come up because he sees that his wanted meter is starting to grow,
I like that.
starting
Wanted
to go
meter.
up. And yeah, she wants me. So a great surprise every now and then is to initiate. Is to initiate. And he'll feel like, yeah, we can do that. I feel good about this because what you're doing is you're really, really pouring into his performance. And that's really powerful.
Yeah.
That's really powerful. I like that one. And I like what you said.
Yeah.
And,
that was for me the cherry on top, unless you have another one.
No, because now my head is thinking about
Nope. All right. So
thinking about other stuff. So
also, if you want to know how to ultimately be the best spouse you can be, you need to get the marriage cheat codes.
get the book.
The book has been doing amazing since we released it on February 13th.
Right.
And we want you to be part of the amazing thing that God is doing through couples through this book. It's got 10 cheat codes, which is basically just means ways to unlock your marriage to the next level.
Yeah.
It's got 10 cheat codes, and we want you to get it on Amazon. It's right there in ebook or paperback format.
Yeah.
And it's going to help you make your marriage easy. That's what we love about
It's going to make it easy. And so, listen, this has been another episode of Breakfast with Mark and Jen. We hope you enjoyed it, and we will catch you next time. Take care.